Hey Geeks! Welcome to Geeksiders Live. Tonight our guest is Marc from Enchantment of Eternity, and we're discussing Season 7 of The Walking Dead. Very high-level overview of Season 7, and whether or not we thought it rallied enough toward the end to get us geared up for Season 8. Marc, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Marc from Enchantment of Eternity. I cover a lot of different shows on my channel. I actually stopped doing The Walking Dead weekly after the first half of Season 7 because I was a bit fed up with the cliffhanger and how slow it was going. So I actually binged the entirety of the second half of Season 7 at once. I actually found I enjoyed it a bit more, but of course, I still had a bit issues with it. And plus, I stopped reviewing Walking Dead week to week because a lot of the really fans of The Walking Dead got a bit sick of me constantly putting the show down, but I still enjoy the show, so I still watch it. But it's not as good as I'd like it to be. But yeah, I'm interested to talk about it.
So you mentioned the cliffhanger. We got to at least mention it, but like we said right before the start, we could do 30 minutes just on the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Basically, the main point with the cliffhanger is it dragged the whole season down.
Yes.
Absolutely, I totally agree with that. Especially like the premiere episode. Like I'm like amazed, like the people who love the cliffhanger and they love the premiere. That even though I totally disagree, that makes sense because at least they're being consistent. But I don't really understand people. A lot of people defending the premiere, saying, "Oh, it's great," but admitting that the cliffhanger sucked. Because to me, the two are connected, and if one sucks, then they both suck. But that's just the way I look at it.
The premiere could have really kind of saved the cliffhanger. It could have really made it pay off. But I think the first 20 minutes kind of sank it, and then after that, I think the first half of the season never recovered. In my opinion, the season didn't recover until about the last 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think the season could have recovered. Like, they could have done it if they went at a faster pace. Like I said in my overall review of Season 7, if, like, the entirety of what they did in Season 7 was done in, like, 6 episodes, then it would have been a great season. They just dragged it out for too long, in my opinion.
So, do you think it did enough at the end to save the season or at least get you excited for Season 8?
Oh, it did do enough to get me excited for Season 8. I will say that. It did sort of recover at the end. I still had some minor issues with it here and there. But yeah, it had a couple really great episodes at the end. Like, this is The Walking Dead that I know and love. And so that's why I'm not ready to give up. Like, I got a comment on my videos like, well, sounds like you're ready to give up on the show, so why don't you just stop watching? But I'm not. I'm not ready to stop watching because there was a couple of good episodes towards the end there.
Yeah. I've gotten similar comments like, "Why don't you just stopping the show? Why don't you just stop watching the show and reviewing it if you hate it so much?"
Comics and the story's amazing.
Here's the thing: we're Walking Dead fans. I wouldn't call us super fans. To me, a super fan is somebody who can see no faults.
Yeah.
And being fans, we can see the faults, and just by the nature of what our channels are, we have to point them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I totally agree, and I get that. I get that with shows that I love, like Game of Thrones and Star Trek, where I say negative things. People are like, how could you say negative things? But you have to, you have to be a grown up about it. You have to be realistic, and if something's faulty, you have to point out, yeah, I think that this doesn't work for the story. And I think, like, with The Walking Dead, like you're talking about the comics, I personally never read them, but from what I hear, and I totally believe you and people who say this, is that the comics are great, and they're kind of stuffing up the sort of translation in these past couple of seasons, particularly with the cliffhanger. But yeah. So I do believe that the show could be great if they get their shit together. And I actually have hope. Like, I actually think it's a good thing that the ratings have dropped a lot, because this, I hope, will send a message to the showrunners that they need to sort of refine how they're doing this. And I do think they do listen to input, because if you notice, the season finale for season 7, no cliffhanger. After all the fans were so outraged at the cliffhanger in season 6. So I do think they might actually listen. Still have hope that because some of the earlier seasons, like even season 5 was just 2 years ago, were great. A lot of good stuff. So I think the show could get better again. So that's why I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, I mean, overall, season by season, The Walking Dead really, this is its first, I would call, bad season. There's been seasons, some are better than others. This is the first, I even like season 2. People crap on season 2 all the time.
Oh, yeah, I would.
Spent the whole season on the farm. Like, well, that's really boring. I didn't think it was that boring. I like the farm.
Yeah, they had like the whole Sophia plotline, and that's where everybody kind of fell in love with Daryl. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Yeah. That was a good season,
And
I'm one of those people that don't like season 2, though. Yeah.
They did 12 episodes. If they had done 16 episodes at the farm, then that might have been a bit much. But I like season 2. Season 7 is the only one that I would say overall I didn't like.
Season 7 was awful.
I don't know. For me, it's a toss-up between season 6 and season 7. I actually think I might like season 6 less because season 7 was like boring and not much happened. But in season 6 had all these gimmicks, like the crawling under the dumpster and the cliffhanger. To me, that's worse than having like a slow-going story. So season 7 almost seemed like a slightly step up from season 6 to me. But that's just my. I know I wasn't. A lot of people love season 6 a lot more than I did. I wasn't that taken with it. But I do think there were good points in season 7, particularly towards the end. I don't know if we're going to get into specifics, but that Bury Me Here episode, that blew me away. That was the powerful stuff that I love about The Walking Dead.
And this is where I do want to kind of get into specifics, is talking about those last few episodes. And since you mentioned the Bury Me Here, we'll go ahead and dig into that. I think that was definitely one of the high points of the season.
Yeah.
A Morgan-centric episode, which it was kind of a bottle episode, but it didn't feel like a bottle episode.
Yeah, and especially since the last time we had a Morgan-centric episode, it wasn't that great. So having this one, like, Morgan's one of those characters, he's been so frustrating this entire time, and I'm just like since I was so excited for him to come back, and then he came back, and I was like, what? And this episode, it was like, yes, Morgan's back. Oh, it was so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even look at it in terms. I guess it was like in terms of a Morgan episode, but it just as an episode of The Walking Dead itself, like the whole way that the story played out, with the guy having that sign saying "Bury Me Here," and you're like, what the hell is that all about? And then it's explained by the end of the episode, and the way that it's explained, Morgan actually eventually burying that guy. It was such a powerful thing, and I will say, like, at the start of the second season, when they introduced that blonde hair character, I can't remember his name, but the one who died in this episode, I will say, as soon as they introduced him, I was like, he's dead. He's going to, he had like a kid, and they're all lovey-dovey, and like, and he's mentoring, like Carol was looking after him, like, no way does that guy survive. But I think the way that they killed him off, I forgive them for, having that cliche, because it works so well, and it really propelled like the story and the characters.
What did you think, Mark, when we saw Morgan kind of regress? And one of my favorite individual shots, actually, of all of season 7 was at the end of that episode when Morgan was sharpening his staff. I'm like, wow, he's turning it from a blunt weapon into a stabby weapon. And I thought that was a really important visual.
Oh, right.
And then it didn't really go anywhere with that yet. I mean, he did he participate in this rescue at Alexandria? Was he not there? I don't remember.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember either.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I can't even remember if Morgan was there. I know Carol was there.
Yeah.
But I can't even remember if Morgan was there.
Yeah,
and I
don't remember if he did either. Because it seemed like he was sharpening his staff, and then he kind of started he became like old Morgan again, like old crazy fun Morgan, and then maybe he regressed back into all life is precious for like a second, because it seemed like Carol was trying to wake him up again or something. I don't know what was going on.
No, I think that was more he decided he wanted to tackle the himself.
That's
and
what
she,
it was.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she was like, "No, you need to join us." And
That's
help
what it was.
the group. Yeah, he just wanted to go on a revenge killing spree.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember why he wouldn't go with him.
Yeah, he wanted to go on a revenge.
Oh, so yeah, I just wanted to point out that your audio is going a bit in and out. Like Cardinal Doomsday in the chat says they can't hear you very good, and like sometimes I can hear you fine, but sometimes I can't hear you and I have to sort of struggle. So I don't know if it's
That's probably the mic
the
on our
microphone.
webcam. I don't know if
Yeah, all right.
right now.
Yeah, that's all good.
Closer. Oh, kitty cat, you dummy.
Oh God, cat.
That was almost real bad. She knocked one of her boxes over and almost knocked one of her lights over. That would have been real bad.
Oh no. Oh no, that's pretty horrible.
She's over there sitting there with her head down, like she knows she's in trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think a lot of people were a lot more cynical about the finale than I was. I heard a lot of people being more critical of like, oh, it's cheesy that they all come, and why is the tiger only attacking the saviors? Why doesn't it just attack anyone at random? I mean, and that's a good criticism, but who cares? It's still a great finale. So I actually like this finale a lot better than some. Like, I didn't really have any issues with that. I did think it was a really good, exciting finale.
The tiger part was so excited, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, how did he tell? Who? She was so excited. I was like, oh, tiger! And then we got a bunch of behind-the-scenes photos from our friend who was in the finale. The guy in the blue suit just going after them, and they had to pretend it was a tiger. It was hilarious.
Yeah, I think Kari Payton in an interview actually may have mentioned something about how in the story they're going to justify how Shiva knows who is on their side, and whether or not it's going to make any kind of scientific, like actual sense, who knows?
Yeah.
But apparently that's something that they're going to explain, maybe.
Yeah.
But in that moment, at least the initial moment when Negan was like about to kill Carl, and it seemed to me he'd be able to tell these are the guys who are aggressors. They're pointing guns. They're being aggressive towards the other people. So I didn't really have that big of an issue with it. I thought it was awesome seeing the tiger go out. Especially Negan's reaction is like, I have a tiger?
Whoa.
I need give me a tiger.
Like, yeah.
Oh God.
But in that moment, like it's such a strong moment. It's so exciting, and like as a viewer, your adrenaline's pumping, and it's like you've been holding it for so long, and then finally you get this release of in this battle. Who cares why the tiger knew the good guy?
Who gives a crap?
Exactly.
Pet tiger. That's not something that happens, especially since he doesn't attack the other people around him. A tiger might connect with one person and not attack that one person, but that's no guarantee against anybody else. And yet he seems to walk just fine with the whole group.
Yeah. I mean,
the tiger doesn't really make sense anyway. It's a story. Sometimes you need to take a step back.
Yeah, especially because I think right now in The Walking Dead, what are we supposed to be? 2.5 or 3 years into the zombie apocalypse, and people are like their language is starting to regress now for some reason.
Yeah, right.
And this guy's got a perfectly tamed tiger, and he has people buying into the fact that he's a king and he talks in the old English. That's a little much for 3 years into the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah,
but you get that suspension of disbelief if the story is good enough. It's easier to suspend your disbelief, and in the finale particularly, the story was good enough.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like they want to show like how a group would progress, like how people would progress if there was no more civilization, but you can't actually go 10 years in the future because walkers are only going to live for so long. So I feel like you kind of got to give them a break on that one.
Like Judith is like the kid that got playing Judith is like 3 years old.
Yeah,
and she should barely be crawling, really.
No, right. Yeah. See, I never noticed stuff like that, so I'm perfectly okay with that. That doesn't really bother
Like,
me.
Carl's almost as tall as Rick. Now,
Yeah.
and he's supposed to be 11 years old.
Yeah. Listen, we might notice stuff, but like these are things that we forget. Like I'm okay with this stuff. Like,
It's
I get it. It's cool.
In a television show, young actors age between seasons. You just gotta live with it.
Yeah. And a 3-year-old's probably way easier to get to do the things that they need her to do than a
doesn't just
7-month-old
spontaneously cry.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
So,
of course.
Okay. Okay.
I was just gonna say it was interesting that they killed off Sasha in this episode, and that was the most expected thing in the world. Because when I heard the announcement the actress would be the lead in the new Star Trek thing, like the article I read said, "Oh, she'll still be on The Walking Dead. This won't interfere with her duties." I'm like, "Yeah, that's bullshit. She's gonna be The Walking Dead." And
you mentioned Sonequa Martin Green is going to be the lead in Star Trek Discovery. So she left The Walking Dead, and now Star Trek Discovery is seeing major problems. That may have been a terrible career choice on her part.
Yeah. But Sasha, like you said, like her dying wasn't really.
It wasn't a shock at all. It was a cool scene.
It was cool. Her death was awesome. Like for being of course she's gonna die. Death, it was awesome. But like I've been expecting her to die for like what, two seasons. 2 seasons now.
Oh yes, yeah, and again, characters like that, these side characters that they tend to kill off all the time anyway. Yeah, but I don't know. Well, it's still too early to tell about Star Trek Discovery. We'll see. There definitely will be a first season, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I haven't heard about all the problems behind the scenes too. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think her death was cool. Like when she popped out of the coffin as Walker and attacked Negan and started the whole sort of fight. But I don't know. The scenes, like this was another thing about the 4 final episodes that kind of irritated me because when she went to go kill Negan and it failed, and I'm just like, didn't we see this happen like 5 times already? Like every time someone gets in their mind, oh, I want to go kill Negan, they go and they fail and they become a prisoner, and Negan doesn't kill him even though he should, and he like leans over them, tries to get them to join his side, and of course they won't. And I was like, I've seen this like 4 times before, so that kind of irritated me. But at least it led to something different.
Yeah.
It was a repetitive season. That's one of the things that really dragged it down as well. And they relied, really heavy on gimmicks, starting back halfway through season 6. And gimmicks and cliffhangers was kind of the theme.
Yeah.
And repetitive storytelling. And that's like the hole was so deep going into the second half of the season that I'm really impressed how the season. I mean, like for me, like I'm more invested now in The Walking Dead than I was during the first half of the season, and I think that kind of speaks to how they kind of righted the ship there near the end.
Yeah, because after the first half of the season, I was about ready to give up. I was honestly, I was like, this show sucks. If it doesn't get better, I'm gonna watch season 8. But yeah, it got better. And so I'm like, I hope season 8 is a lot better because I don't know if I can do another half crap and then barely saves it at the end season.
Yeah. It had one real stinker in the second half of the season, and that was the Rick and Michonne episode.
Oh God!
Oh yeah,
with that awful CGI dude. Oh God!
Oh my God, I could. Yeah, that was like, this is exactly what I don't like about The Walking Dead. This is why I don't watch this shit weekly anymore. Yeah, I would say, like,
proceed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, after the first half of the season, that's when I stopped watching it weekly and I'll binge it. And I think I actually did enjoy the second half a bit more by binging it because, like, the Rick and Michonne episode, I could just plow right through and go right to the next one, which is actually a bit better, and not have to be stuck with that bad taste in my mouth for a whole week waiting for another episode. So I think next season 8, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to wait till the half season's over and binge it, and we'll see if it gets better. Because I think season 8 could go either way. It could, because they have potential. They have a great setup. They could do something amazing. But it's just, if they try to sort of just stretch it out forever, then it's just going to ruin it. So I don't know.
The big thing I'm concerned about for season 8 is the writer's strike.
Yeah.
Like they're filming and writing at the same time right now, which could be real bad.
Yeah, I mean, when he had time to actually write the script, it wasn't good. So this is terrifying. I mean, hey, maybe he works really well under pressure, and we'll get like an amazing season 8. Who knows?
But that's the reason why Norman Reedus and Jeffrey Dean Morgan had to cancel their appearance at MegaCon, was because they had to go film because the writers are going to go on strike here in a few weeks, and they need to get as much as they can before the writers go on strike.
Yeah.
And so that could, I mean, we all remember what happened to Heroes at season 2.
Oh, yes.
Imagine Walking Dead, the most popular show on television right now. The writer's strike could sink it.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. I'm a bit worried about that writer's.
Sobering moment. It's like, yeah, that's really shit.
Yeah. I'm just really worried about that writer's strike overall. Like, it could affect a lot of shows I love. But yeah, I mean, it could, like, you're right, because The Walking Dead is in such a bad place already, and so already ratings are dropping, and if it gets even worse because of the writer's strike, then it could drop even further. But I don't know. Like, I'll have to see, because their plan is to keep The Walking Dead going on forever, like have like 13 or 14 seasons, and I don't really see my interest lasting that long. I don't know. I personally think it would be better if they had an end game in mind, like some other shows do. But I don't know. We'll have to see how long it will last.
I would like to see them I would like to see a finite ending. Like, okay, this is the end of this. Like like MASH. Like okay, this is where the series is over, and you're satisfied with it, and it doesn't seem like there could be any more.
Yeah, it feels like it's finished.
And
absolutely,
it might take them 6 more seasons to get there. And like you said, if it continues like season 7. I don't know if I could make it 6 more seasons. As good as I think the second half was, I don't know if I could go through 6 more seasons of this.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of a downfall of the episode, the fact that they have in mind, or the show, that they have in mind that this is going to go on forever, because I think they're purposely dragging things out. And if they stop doing that, instead of like focus on telling a very good and concise story, then the show could be really good. But because, like I said, I think season 7 could have been 6 episodes, and it would have been an amazing 6 episodes. But they're like, no, we have to drag things out because we want the show to go on forever, and it's just hurting the show, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. The bottle episodes did this season no favors, and that's what the biggest problem was dragging this whole story out with these bottle episodes. And I took a lot of shit in the comments for talking about the bottle episode. Like
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, some people still enjoy the show, and that's good on them. But I think it's pretty obvious that they're becoming the minority, and most people are getting a bit fed up with this pace.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think the general vibe of the fandom is frustration. I think.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like it's because they're catching up to the comics, so they're taking storylines and dragging them out so that they don't catch up, and it's just it's not working.
Yeah, absolutely, totally agree.
So our mic apparently keeps cutting in and out.
Yeah, and I tried to push the USB in to see if it would work, and it's not. So sorry for that, guys.
Yeah, apologies. So let's see. AJ's here.
Hey, AJ.
Good to see you. Cardinal, he's leaving. Going to try to come back for Doctor Who. Hopefully, we get our mic problems fixed by then. We may have to switch to our Yeti mic.
Yeah,
to get that fixed.
That'll work though for that one.
Yeah.
It doesn't for this because it doesn't give us any sound. It turns off our sound.
Oh no.
So, we'll start finishing up this discussion. I think we've covered a lot of ground. The main thing I want to talk about here as we wrap it up is what do you hope to see from season 8?
All right,
other than wrapping up the war.
Well, yeah, I hope that they handle this war really well. Like, from what I understand, I totally trust people who read the comics, is that it was really great in the comics. So I think, but the show had a history of bungling adaptation, like the whole, cliffhanger debacle. So I hope that they get this shit together and handle this better and learn that, okay, we need to stop with the gimmicks. We need to stop with, like, dragging things out forever, and let's tell a very good and concise story and focus on this battle and how it affects the characters, because I'm really excited for it, and I think it could be really great. So I hope that they listen to the sort of outcry from their fan base and say, okay, we need to sort of tighten things up a bit, and if they do that, I'll be totally into the show and I'll love it again. So that's what I'm hoping for in season 8.
Any death predictions?
Oh God, so many people could die. Death predictions. Jeez, I don't know. I was just surprised that Rosita is still alive. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I want to predict her death because it seems like she should have died already. I think Tara is probably due for a death. I don't know. The minor characters like that. Father Gabriel, maybe. I don't know. Like, I haven't read the comics, so I don't know who dies in the comics. But those are kind of death predictions I'd throw out there.
So you mentioned Rosita, Father Gabriel, and
Tara.
Those are your three to look out for deaths.
Yeah.
But reading the comics doesn't really help you because they do the deaths out of order anyway. Like, some people who died in the show are actually still alive in the comics, and vice versa. People who are dead in the comic, like Carol, doesn't survive very long in the comics. They built that character for Melissa.
Oh yeah,
because she was such a great Carol.
Well, I don't think they'll kill off any of the main ones like Carol or Daryl or Rick or Carl or Michonne. I think those guys have pretty strong plot armor now. I hope that they don't kill Eugene because I actually like what they did with Eugene becoming like I am Negan. Like that, even though I thought his episode was a bit boring, I thought his overall storyline this season was really funny. He was really good. So I'd like to see them do more with that character and him sort of maybe come back to Rick's group. So I hope they don't kill off Eugene, but they might.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Mark. I like what they're doing with Eugene right now.
Yeah.
Because it's so different from the comics.
Yeah, and Eugene is probably like the most youthful person in the zombie apocalypse. So like it would be a terrible shame for future writing if they killed him off. Because there's so many things he can do, and so many things that they can have that they otherwise wouldn't be able to have without Eugene there.
Like ammo.
Yeah, like ammo. Like tons of things. But my personal death, or actually I think both of us, our death prediction, Dwight.
Yeah, that's gonna be the one I think this season. I think Dwight's gonna die in the war.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Here's my theory, and I'm sure everybody in the chat has heard this a dozen times already. But Daryl in the show was created before Dwight in the comics. I think that they created Dwight for the comics as a way to put Daryl in the comics without putting Daryl in the comics. So now that they're both in the show, one of them needs to die, and there's no way they do it with Daryl because they're going to lose money in merchandise sales. It's going to be Dwight.
Yeah.
And then Daryl will get Dwight's story from the comics. So
I can definitely see that. Yeah, I can see. I can see Dwight. It does seem like they're sort of playing like the way his wife sort of leaving him and stuff, and it does seem like they're building to an arc where he could have like a heroic death, where he does something to like screw Negan over for good, or and to save the other group. Yeah, so I'm on board with that. I think that makes sense. Like, I know that Dwight becomes something big in the comics, but what's your explanation of them being a Daryl surrogate and now they actually don't need them both? That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
AJ was saying Morgan, Jadis, and Simon. I don't think Jadis is going to die. I think she's going to end up being Alpha from the Whisperers. I think the Scavengers are the future Whisperers.
Yeah, I can see that.
Who's Simon?
Simon is Negan's right-hand man. Stephen Ogg plays his character.
Oh yeah, Simon's the
Okay.
one who's written so much better than Negan.
Yeah.
Like I
He's
kind of
written the way.
yeah, Negan should be written like him.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, I think he'll die too. I think he will die in season 8.
Like, they're writing Simon better than they're writing Negan.
Yeah.
And I love Jeffrey D. Morgan. I think he's fantastic. But I think Stephen Ogg would do just as good a job.
Oh yeah,
as
like they
Jeffrey D.
easily
Morgan.
could have cast him. Yeah, he doesn't look like Negan. Oh my gosh.
Neither does Jeffrey D. Morgan.
More so than he does.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, if you guys just want to, if you want to tilt the computer a bit more this way, because I can hear Anna really good, but I can't hear you very well, Josh. Yeah.
My bad.
Not too much, yeah. Cool.
So
Yeah,
but
but-
what I was saying was well, whatever, you know. I don't know where.
But they said, yeah, AJ says they better not kill off Dwight. I just started liking him. Yeah, I don't like him. I think I can understand him. I think he's an interesting character, but I don't really like him. So I wouldn't be upset if they killed him off. I think his story arc was really good this season, but again, it took too long. Like they didn't really need to take that long. And one more thing we haven't talked about yet, which I wanted to get out of the way, is I really hated what they did with Carol this season. So that's another thing I hope to see in season 8. I hope to see Carol go back to being her badass self, because this storyline started in season 6 and I didn't buy it. I thought it didn't make sense, and it seemed like they just wanted again to set Carol aside for a couple seasons, and I didn't appreciate it. And at the end, the finale, she seems to be back to herself. So I'm sick of this. Oh, I want to live by myself alone in the woods. I'm like, it's just not interesting. So, and I want to get back to the Carol who blew up Terminus by herself. That's the Carol I want to see.
Like that Carol would have taken down Sanctuary alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't get what they're doing with Carol either. Like they made her weak this season, and like Carol's not weak. She's been like one of the strongest characters, and sometimes I feel like they're just like messing with us because Carol's a fan favorite, and we're like, hey, what can we do with Carol's storyline that makes her basically non-existent this season? Oh, I know. Let's put her in a cabin in the woods.
I think they wrote themselves into a corner. I really think they wrote themselves into a corner with Carol because they made her so OP. She took out Terminus alone. If Carol stayed the same and they didn't weaken her a little bit, there is no all-out war.
Yeah, Negan didn't.
She strolls into Sanctuary and just massacres the place.
Yeah,
They had
maybe
to
that could be the
nerf
case.
Carol.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. I just hope she goes back to her old self.
She's been broken her leg.
Yeah, they could have done something.
I would have much rather a badass Carol with a broken leg than I don't want to kill people anymore. It's a zombie apocalypse. You have to kill people. It doesn't even make sense.
Same thing we said about Morgan. You have to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. They did the same thing to her that they did to Morgan, and it's a repeat storyline.
And that's the repetitive storyline that we kind of all harp on. Which, when you're talking about a comic book, though, I mean, you're going to see repetitive storylines.
Yeah,
because
but
it's been going, for a decade.
Yeah. But not as repetitive as the show.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people need to understand is like the comic books is a different format than TV, and you can't do exactly like word for word translation because it doesn't. They're different mediums, and you can stretch stories out like that in comics because it's a different medium you buy. You read it, it's different. Whereas the TV show, if you just keep stretching it out, and repeating the same beats, it's just gonna get very old, and people are gonna drop off the show.
And there's other things as well. Like there's things that are plausible in a comic book that aren't plausible on a live action television.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Mark has something like he's like,
yeah. No. Something I forgot to talk about that really, really bothered me was the Negan lean. Like, hey, oh, look at you. Like, I was expecting him to, like, fall over at one point. He was leaning so much. It was so annoying.
Oh, wait for the outtakes. It happened. I guarantee
and I got a comment.
Shit a couple of
yeah,
times
I'm sure. Like, one of the things from the comics that I wasn't sure how it would go over in the show was the King and Shiva. Like, I was like, oh, this is gonna suck. There's no way that this is gonna translate. And they actually did that really well.
Yeah, that was good. Like, I think that was translated really well. But I will say about the Negan lean that it did get better. That's another thing that got better in the second half, because the first half of season 7, I totally didn't buy Negan. He was too over the top. He wasn't like, I described him like as a really, really dark chocolate, where if you have like one or two bites, it's delicious, but if you have a whole bunch, too much of it is just overwhelming. You don't like it. And so that, I think that worked better in the second half, to sort of cut back on that a little bit and only had him sort of over the top when he needed to be. And that's great, because it's a case of less is more. So when you do have him be over the top and poignant things, it's more powerful, whereas all the time he's going, look at you. It's just like, no, stop it. So that's another thing I think they did sort of course correct.
Yeah, and Gene Young was playing Negan perfectly, because he is like that in the comics. Like, he's very over the top and just like, like, I totally bought it. I was like, oh, that is totally comic Negan. But you're right, like, it works in the comic book. Not so much. I loved him when they first introduced him. I was like, oh my god, that was Negan. But then, like, the more you see him after, I'm like, okay, I'm like, tone it down a bit. Like,
yes.
So, gosh, we covered a lot of ground in a really short amount of time. We did really good.
Yeah, we did.
Do we have any final thoughts? Did we finish death predictions?
Yeah,
basically. I predicted Dwight.
Yeah, Dwight. That's all I got.
I got to agree. I think Rosita probably wins for the season. I agree with Tara. I think Tara might die. Tara and Dwight. Are we going to get a major character death? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Like big 3, big 4? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I think I would like the show a lot better. Like, if they killed someone like Rick or Carl, that would make me go, wow. But they would have to do it in a very good, like, if it did away in sort of the war concluded, like one of them had to sacrifice themselves, or even Daryl to save the war, then I would be like, wow, this show has balls. But I just don't think the show does at this point. But we'll see.
It's I'll finish off with this. Speaking of, the show doesn't have balls. I was so mad after the cliffhanger of season 6 that I wanted them to kill off Daryl. I'm like, make the fucking cliffhanger worth it. You kill off Daryl. That's the only thing that made the cliffhanger worth it. And they didn't do it. And Daryl's my favorite character. It's not like I'm shitting on him because he's a character in the show. He's my favorite character. I'm like, you got to earn that cliffhanger. The only way to do it is to kill off Daryl. And they didn't do it, and it showed a complete lack of balls on their part.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think we agree it sank the season. All the second half managed to do was to get us excited for season 8. It didn't really save season 7.
Yeah, no, season 7 is still the worst season for us. And it just made it.
It's like a football team that lost the first, 13 games of the season and then blew out their opponents in the last 3.
Yeah, It made the entire season not a complete and utter waste of time, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
definitely agree there.
I know you like to give you do numbers, correct, Mark? In your grades?
Yeah, 1 through 10. Yeah.
1 through 10. What's your grade for season 7?
I think I'm trying to remember what I gave it on my review. I think I gave it a 5. So it's sort of right in the middle. It's like a 5 is kind of a poor, but it's like the highest sort of poor grade I could give it. It's kind of like, yeah. So that's probably what I give it because there were good parts to it. I'm not ready to say it's like a 3 or a 2 or anything like that because I still see potential in it. I still was, binge watching the second half of season 7. There were still episodes I was like, wow, this is great. I wanted to see the next one. But then, of course, we got the filler bullshit. So, yeah, so I'd give it a 5.
We typically do we kind of mix and match. We do letters. Yeah. We do letters and numbers.
Yeah.
If I was going to give it a letter grade, I'd give it a C-, which would be what is that, like a 60, or is that a D? Or maybe like a 6.
Oh God, I don't know.
I don't know. I would give it like between a 5 and a 6. It's like right in there. C-.
Yeah, I definitely didn't like it as much. I would probably give it a 3.
A 3.
I think binge watching the second half of the season is what made you give it a higher grade because like having the week in between these filler episodes and the really good episodes, like for me, the really good episodes did not save this season. It gets me hyped for 8, and it made this season not a complete waste of time. But overall, this season sucked. So I give it a 3, and letter grade, I would probably give it a D.
All right. Yeah, I mean, as I said,
Hannah, wow, the harshest out of all of us. Wow.
Yeah.
And you're a teacher. No wonder your students hate you.
My students don't hate me.
Yeah, we're seeing in the chat, William DeMarco says 6.5, and AJ says 7 out of 10. So they enjoyed it more than we did.
Yeah.
So I guess that's going to be it for this discussion. Like I said, we covered a lot of stuff in about 45 minutes. That's about where I wanted to end it.
Yep.
So wow, I think it was a really great discussion.
Yeah. Not too bad.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, Mark, before we sign off, would you like to shout yourself out? And I saw you did a channel update in the last couple of days. You want to tell us what you're up to?
Oh yes, yeah. Enchantment of Eternity is my channel. I did a channel update just saying which shows that I will be reviewing, covering for the rest of the year, and how frequently. Because I chose only 5 shows to cover every single week, and I'm doing 2 of them at the moment: Better Call Saul and The Leftovers. And later on in the year, I'll also be doing Game of Thrones, Star Trek Discovery. Still hoping it'll be good, and Mr. Robot. So yeah, and you can check out my channel for all sorts of other reviews. I'm also doing weekly spoiler-free reviews, like 6-minute reviews of shows I haven't seen before. So if you haven't seen these shows, you want to check them out, see whether or not you should watch them, I'll do those as well. So yeah, just check out Enchantment of Eternity.
I didn't hear you say anything about Dark Matter. Are you not doing Dark Matter for season 3?
Yeah, I will be doing Dark Matter, but not week to week. That's one I'll be covering like every 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, I will be covering Dark Matter, but not every week because I tried to limit myself to how many ones I do every week.
Okay, and everybody should know who we are. We're on our channel. We're going to be doing our Doctor Who virtual watch party here in about 15 minutes. So anybody who wants to check that out can go over to our next live stream event. We're going to be doing, June's going to get crazy because Dark Matter's coming back, Killjoys is coming back, Winona Earp is coming back, although we're not going to review that. But we're going to have a 3-hour watch party. When all those shows are going on, Friday nights, it's going to be Killjoys, Dark Matter, Winona Earp. 3-hour watch party every Friday night once all those three shows are going. So June's going to be bananas, and it's going to be a blast.
Yes.
So that's it for this live stream. Thanks, everybody, for being so active in the chat. Like, the chat blew up there after a while. I was like, look. That was really, really awesome. We really appreciate that. And we're going to sign off. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.